up, Cadell Hood? Hey, what's up, Cadell Hood? Wicked, wicked. What's up, Cadell Hood? Hey, what's up, Cadell Hood? Wiki, wiki. Hello, everyone. I am officially back. If this is your first time watching my channel, that intro was extremely awkward for you. I completely understand, but I'm weird, so, you know, you'll get used to it. I know I've been gone from this channel for some time, and I took an unintentional break, and then things kind of just happened. Death and illness, just a lot was going on, and I was not focused at all on YouTube in general. But now I'm officially back, and I realized that the last data video that I made, I got comments, and I just saw the comments yesterday, so months later. I will be responding to everyone, but today I wanted to tell you that I actually resigned from Dada, and then I reapplied to Dada. Let's just get into it. So Dada is a strong competitor in the ESL online teaching community, and it is definitely like high up there when you hear like online ESL. So I am teaching now. Currently I'm on break, that's why I look like this, okay? But anyways, back to the Dada thing. I applied when I first got into online teaching. I went straight for VipKid because that was the first thing that I saw. And then from VipKid, from looking on YouTube for mock, like just mock tips and everything, because honestly, I was brand new into the ESL world. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. I was a stay-at-home mom. I just graduated college. I had 2 babies under 2, and I was sick and tired of the repetitiveness in my life. Every single day it was the same. I had no social interaction with any adults around me until my husband came home, but then he'd go straight to sleep from working all day long. So I needed something more out of my life. I started doing research, and someone actually reached out to me, a subscriber from YouTube, and said, hey, you should apply for VipKid. And that's kind of how I got into it. I applied, and from there I saw other schools, and that's when I started looking up, you know, videos on, you know, companies. At the time, I only wanted to work for one company. I didn't know that people can work for 2, 3, 4 more or more. And Dada just really stood out to me. You know, right after I got hired with VipKid, I discovered Dada, and I knew that I just had to apply. One thing that I like the most is that the company books you, so you're always getting paid. You get what I'm saying? At the time, I don't think now, but at the time they did standby pay. So if you were working during your contract hours but there was no classes, you still got half pay, and I really liked that. Also, it felt more of a secure job. You know, you clock into your job. Usually you tell the company, when you get hired, you tell the company what time you want to work. I chose to work from 5, that's the earliest for me, 5 to 9 o'clock a.m. And so by 4:50 I'm already logged in, and by 9 o'clock I'm already logged out. And I just like that security of the company's giving me bookings, and if no one shows up, I still get half pay, which works out because at least I know every month I'm getting some sort of payment. The only thing that I didn't care for with Dada, but this is most companies, is that you get paid once a month. I feel like every company, or just about, you're getting paid once a month. But for me, I was like, that is so long. But there is a benefit. A lot of the times, because you are getting paid once a month, your check will be larger. So that's a good thing. All right. So I do my mock and I apply for Dada. At the time, they just switched the interview process a little bit. Beforehand, before I applied, you had to actually teach an actual student instead of an adult acting like a student, which I thought would have been better for my confidence level. But I ended up doing terribly on my interview. In my opinion, I did terrible. I did not pace myself. Again, this was my first time in the ESL community, so when they offered me like the lowest rate, I was excited. I did not care that it was the lowest rate because I wasn't getting a check anyways. Before, you know, I was just a stay-at-home mom, so to like get something, I didn't care. I was just really happy. And then I ended up being a very, very, very good teacher. I ended up being a very good teacher. A lot of parents were asking me to add on more hours and, you know, so forth and so on. And I really, really enjoyed the company, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to have a secondary position, but it's pretty difficult to get into so early. I think, you know, you have to have earned your mark, kind of, maybe work there for maybe at least like 5 months before you start asking. After like a month or two, I'm like, I want a secondary position. I'm all in data. And I actually wanted to leave VIP to work fully for data because I loved it so much. And I really liked how data did not care how long you took to teach a student. There was no, hey, you have to finish by this time. It was, you teach the student and you go at the pace that the student needs to go. And I really like that because not every child is the same. Not every child could finish a whole lesson in 30 minutes. Some need more on one thing, some need less on one thing, you know? So it's really geared for the children and their benefit, and I really like that. So I had a lot of regulars. I saw them very often. I became quickly attached to them, and I just never saw myself quitting. However, I started to become very bored with the lessons, and this is just me being completely honest with you. I get bored quickly, and the thing is, I didn't have I don't know how to say this. My regular students, they were all same level pretty much, you know. I didn't have babies and then older kids and then like some in between. Mine was just all in between. I literally had like all 9-year-olds, and they're all just about the same lessons. So I repeatedly taught the same lesson over and over and over again. Occasionally I would have trial students, and the trials were always the same lesson as well. They were always like the preschool ones, which I didn't mind, but it became so repetitive. There was no excitement. And remember, I was already a stay-at-home mom that was dealing with like repetitiveness all, you know, every day because I had my kids on a strict schedule. So I was already tired of like repeat. I know what to expect at this time, I know what to expect at that time. I wanted a little chaos, to be honest. I wanted a little excitement, and data, for me, I didn't get that because my lessons were the same. And what are the odds that I would have like the same level student as my regular students? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't really happen. You usually have like a mixture, and so it's fun because you can do this lesson and you get to teach the lesson the way you perceive it, which makes it nice as well. And that's what I liked, the creativity of it all. But for me, I lost that creativity because the lessons were the same. Like I would literally teach a lesson on food, and then the next class will be the same lesson on food, and then the next class will be the lesson that I just taught before food, and then the other one will be food again. And I'm like, oh, I'm losing it. Can't take it anymore. So finally I said, you know, I cannot do this. Finally I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It's just too much of a repeat. On the weekends I actually worked for VipKid, and everything went well. I worked for Dada more. It was my main company, and then VIP I would do on the weekends. So I really liked teaching for VipKid because every single lesson was different. And then also with VipKid you get certified in different levels depending on what you like. So I was certified to teach at the time, I think like levels you know, like 1 through 4 I believe, and like a few little you know, extra classes here and there. So it was nice because I didn't know what to expect, and it was fun, and the classes went by really fast. You know, the 25 minutes for VipKid, it felt like I taught for 10 minutes, whereas for data, the 30 minutes felt like I was teaching for an hour. It was so draggy for me because I knew every slide, I knew what to expect. I did the same thing like previously over and over and over and over and over again. So finally I said I'm going online with VipKid because for me, data is just becoming like it's too much. Like it's literally too much. And all my students, I loved my regular students. I didn't have too many. I don't remember. I didn't have too many because the students that I had, they filled out my schedule because they took me multiple times. And I don't know if that's a thing either, because I saw that some people had like 21 regular students, and then they'll be like spread out evenly throughout the days, I think. For me, I had a small amount, I think like 10, and those 10 they would like fill it out because I would have them multiple times throughout the day, which made it exhausting because I felt like I was seeing the same kids so much, which I loved, but because of the whole repetitiveness of the lesson, I was just like, oh, all right, let me just do this really quick. And keeping that same energy that I had, that bubbliness that I have in each class, was very exhausting, to be quite honest. Finally, I said I am just going to resign because VipKid, my schedule was getting fully booked. So I decided to go ahead and take the risk and open up the rest of my days. So I did not do what I was supposed to do for Dada as far as like quitting the right way. I think you're supposed to put in your 2-week notice, give the company a heads up, and then slowly but surely your students start to disappear, and they're like, you know, they have time to put them in different classes. I didn't give them that, and I really feel terrible about it. Here's the thing, I was already over it. In my mind, I was over it, and I didn't want to drag it on with my students, and I didn't want them to know. That's something else. I didn't want my students to know I wasn't coming back because I felt so attached to them, and I just didn't want the sadness between us, the crying. I felt horrible. So I just left like a coward. I did. And they were calling me, and I kept telling them, hey, I don't want to work, I don't want to work, I don't want to work, I'm sorry, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. Eventually, months later, they finally said, okay, you know, you're done, you're done. So that was that. So I fully put my eggs into VipKid. I really liked VipKid. At this point, I'm certified to teach just about everything. I'm doing really well. I'm loving the classes. There's a mixture of different students and different levels, and I was excited. It brought me energy. But I became addicted to working because with VipKid, you don't have a set schedule. You set your own schedule. And like me, like an idiot, I decided to not take it easy, and I was trying to do overnights, and because the classes were going by fast for me, so I thought I can do this. And it was very difficult, especially when you're going through things, you know. So at first it was fine, I was able to do it, and then I became like really ill and nauseous from lack of sleep and just a lot of things going on. And there was a period where I was vomiting all the time, and it was terrible. And I ended up having to cancel like 40 something classes, to be honest, because I was so sick. Like I couldn't get out of bed sick, I think from like lack of work and like flu and, oh my god, virus. It was disgusting. This was the worst I've ever been sick. They understood. Some classes I was able to get self-cancellations for, some I was not. And then my uncle passed. That was another thing that I had to cancel for. It was just really rough, and I realized without even realizing that I accumulated the 6 cancellations. And that's something that I didn't have to worry about with Dada. I didn't really take off with Dada anyways, but it's very easy to just cancel a class. They take a payment out of your cut, and then that's that. And it sucks, but it's life. You have to have repercussions, you know, in some way, shape, or form. With VipKid, they count it towards you, and at 6, you know, you can be fired. So I got the 6. I was on the verge of being fired. I was so nervous. They said, it will give you a second chance, pretty much. Don't miss any more classes if you could avoid it. And because of that, I was like, let me go back to something that I'm used to, something that I can not be fearful of losing my job if something happens, you know, and the only penalty is money. I'd rather that than losing my job. So I decided to look into some other companies before going straight to Dada, because Dada is what I'm used to. Dada and VIP, that's what I'm used to. And I'm one of those people, it's hard for me to try new things. I looked into Magic Years, Bling ABC. I almost went for Go-Go Kid. I heard there was some payment issues on that end, so I decided to just completely avoid that. But I looked into other ones that just nothing compared to Dada. I really like Dada, and I think this time hopefully I can have a mixture of students. I think so though. I just feel like the first time what ended up happening was the kids who I did teach, they just liked me a lot, so they filled me up, like taking me more than the average teacher. And because of that, it was like the same thing so much, because I'm reteaching the same student, and then all of my students were like around the same level, ironically speaking. Like that never happens, I think. So I did reply. The interview for me, it was a little harder than the first time. The first time, the woman that interviewed me, she was very lovely, very sweet and kind. Not saying that this interviewer wasn't, but she was very very strict. I was trying to be bubbly, like, hello, I sang and everything. She was not fazed by it. Her face was like this the whole time, like, hopefully I get offered a high amount. I think that this time was completely different. My lighting was really good, my background's nice. I had this thing on, I had the blue collared shirt on, I had high energy. I made the lessons fun, interactive. She did say at the end she liked how my lessons were interactive, but she also said that I didn't correct her with pronunciation with some things. I don't know, maybe that's just truth. I will say she did give me a difficult time with the acting on her end, because she showed no energy. I got nothing back. And you know, she did act as though she knew zero English for the lower level, which was fine. I made it work, but for the higher level, I expected it to be different. I expected for the higher level for her to act as though she knew sentence structures. So I was trying to teach the sentence structures. It just took long because she you know, she acted like she couldn't even put a sentence together. So I was like, hopefully she offers me a high amount. I don't know, but I think the highest you can get offered is 25. I'm shooting for 20, to be honest with you. I don't know, usually they offer like beginning 17, 18. I'm gonna shoot for 20. That's just me being honest, because I feel like my skills are really out there. I really did well. I'm very confident in myself that I should at least be offered 20. So we shall see. Okay guys, so that was my experience with Dadaabc. I decided to work for them, well, if I get the job. I'm acting as though I already got it, but if I get it, I'm going to work for them 3 days out of the week, 3 days, and then VIP 3 days, and then I have a day to myself. So it's equally, you know, equal. For Dadaabc, my schedule, I don't know. Oh, they do give you the options, yeah. So I'm gonna work the highest time from 5 a.m. probably, or 6 in the morning till 9 in the morning, and then that's that. I'm not quitting. I learned my lesson. I'm not putting my eggs in one basket. I think it's better to work for two companies, because you just have that security, that better security. You get what I'm saying? And so 2 companies for me it is. But let me know down below what companies you're looking into. There is a lot of companies. There's a lot of small ones too. I know Wells is a new one for me. I just heard about that one. Bling ABC is another one that I just heard about. So look into them. Some companies are paying higher amounts, like 30 an hour, which is insane. But the thing is, a lot of those companies, you have to teach 4 students or 3 students or whole classrooms, and I'm not confident if it's not a one-on-one thing. Also, a company that I wanted to bring up is Education First, because you can work all throughout the day. The slots are 24 hours open, because you can also teach adults and everything. So Education First is one that I wanted to bring up to you guys. But anyways, that was my video. I actually gotta go to work soon. It's 7:55 and I got class at 8 o'clock. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.